Out of all of the most interesting Nintendo IPs that are out there, none speaks to my core and soul than the Kid Icarus series, which, whatever happened to those games? You see, the last time we had a Kid Icarus game was Kid Icarus Uprising in 2013 for the Nintendo 3DS, and since then, we haven't had anything new, and I'm a little bit worried about what exactly they have plans for us in terms of Pit and the world of Kid Icarus at this very moment in time. And yeah, of course, naturally, much like any other video that I've done in my discussions as of recent, we're going to be talking about what exactly is happening with the Kid Icarus franchise, because, like I said, the last time we had it was almost a decade ago, and it's very interesting to see what exactly could be the future of Kid Icarus in regards to the current events of Nintendo affairs. With the recent talks of the Nintendo Switch 2 and all that kind of stuff, right now Kid Icarus feels like an opportunity for the Nintendo Switch 2 to kind of have a more obscure library, to say the least. Meaning, with a bunch of franchises that are out there from Nintendo that feel a little bit more obscure, Kid Icarus kind of has a chance to make a revival period with a brand new console and with a brand new setting and with brand new graphics, if we go by the leaks that have been going on in terms of the PS4 graphical fidelity that the Nintendo Switch 2 seemingly will have. And because of that, I figured, alright, considering the current lineup of Nintendo Switch games already, since we already have a remake for one GameCube game, which is Paper Mario, and they're not really doing much in terms of advertising new content for the Switch, at least at this very moment in time, Kid Icarus could make a revival period in that case. But in terms of right now, at least, to kind of give people more or less what they want, clearly a lot of people want a Kid Icarus Uprising Switch port or a port of sorts down the line. Yeah, that part clearly is obvious because that's what made people fall in love with Kid Icarus. Not the NES game that released like decades ago, but Kid Icarus Uprising was the game that solidified Pit as a Nintendo IP in the sense of like, this is a character and everybody's going to love this character and the world that they created based on Greek mythology. And it worked. It worked super well for the Nintendo 3DS. It is considered one of the best 3DS games at this very moment in time, and everybody fell in love with Pit because of this game. Yeah, if you compare Kid Icarus Uprising to the NES version, you'll realize that Pit had a major 180 in regards to character design, character direction, and just personality in general, especially with the art style that Sakurai managed to implement for this game, because yeah, Sakurai worked on this, by the way. Why do you think it feels like you're playing a Smash game sometimes? So yeah, Kid Icarus Uprising was that game for everybody that made them fall in love with Pit of all characters and with the world of Kid Icarus, and a lot of people are still asking for the possibility of a brand new game, or at the very least, a Switch port or an opportunity for this to be ported down the line. Regarding my personal thoughts as well with Kid Icarus Uprising, it was a solid game when it released. A lot of people were a little bit iffy with the 3DS at the time, 2012, 2013. There was something of like an interest to the damn thing, but then Kid Icarus Uprising showed up and it basically obliterated the 3DS in terms of, oh, this is something that's really good. Like, yeah, we had Ocarina of Time 3DS around that time. Sure, there was a few other, obscure titles that, many developers at the time, like Capcom with Street Fighter 4, and I think Star Fox 64 had a 3DS remake of around that time. Like, there were a bunch of titles there that they didn't scream that, oh, you had to buy a 3DS, but Kid Icarus Uprising definitely demonstrated that. And like I said, it is a very fantastic game to the point that it's so well done that there's no way in hell that this was a 3DS game. Like, seriously, the way Sakurai managed to design this game, the way that there's this not just arcade feel to it, but this sort of like adventure seeking like atmosphere to this game. The more you want to play through it, the more you experience Pit as a character, the more you uncover what Kid Icarus could have become down the line. That is what makes Kid Icarus Uprising such a unique title in the lineups of Nintendo IPs and such a unique concept for Kid Icarus down the line. Because again, compare the two games back on the NES and this one, I'm telling you, they were cooking with Kid Icarus Uprising. And so my theory is we are definitely getting a Kid Icarus Uprising Switch port, or at the very least, before they announce the Nintendo Switch 2, they'll be like, hey, we have a couple more Switch ports down the line. You know, remember Luigi Mansion 2? Remember Paper Mario Thousand Year Door Remake? Don't worry, we got one more under the belt, and that's Kid Icarus Uprising, and that's gonna seal the deal for the Nintendo Switch lineup, because like I said, it's high time that we get a brand new generation of Nintendo consoles, and Kid Icarus Uprising would be like the perfect, you know, seal off opportunity for the Nintendo Switch to kind of, you know, fade in the distance and bring the spotlight for the Nintendo Switch 2. And then from there, based on the reception of Kid Icarus Uprising Switch port, there's going to be an opportunity for a brand new Kid Icarus game based on the gameplay style of Uprising, and that'll be for the next generation of Nintendo console. So that's more or less my theory. That's my current headspace in regards to Kid Icarus, because as a game and as a sort of IP for Nintendo, it's quite the most unique one out there, because like I said, you only really have 2 games of the franchise, the NES one and Kid Icarus Uprising. Then of course you have Smash, where he made his grand debut in Super Smash Bros. Brawl back in 2008 in, you know, on the Nintendo Wii. And since then, he's been stuck there, basically, you know. Remember Palutena's commentary on the Wii U? I think also on the Switch with Smash Ultimate, I'm not 100% sure. But that's basically his legacy at the moment. So an opportunity like this one would definitely work for him. I think it would also work for plenty of other Nintendo IPs that don't necessarily have had a spotlight on the Nintendo Switch, but definitely could have that spotlight, you know, like F-Zero, Metroid, and obviously Pit and Kid Icarus here. So yeah, this one is gonna be very short, much like the Kid Icarus franchise, but it is something interesting and something unique to talk about down the line. I definitely would like to do a review on Kid Icarus Uprising sometime in the channel, maybe for this year, because the year is young after all. But for the most part, let's wait and see if Pit makes his comeback arc, if he indeed make his true Uprising, and we get that Switch port before the Nintendo Switch 2, and we get a brand new game down the line, because yeah, it's high time he deserves that comeback, you know. But throw your comments down below. I'll see you all with the next one as usual. Peace out, take care, and you know how it is. Let's roll the outro.